let's get started. You guys, thanks so much for being here. This is Benson. I am with Privy. I'm one of the owners here. And I'm super stoked tonight. We've got my good friend Shawn on board, even though he says he's a little under the weather. I believe he probably operates at a higher level than I do, even at 60% of ARV. So we're fortunate to have him here with us. Thank you, Shawn, for being here, man.
No problem, bro. No problem, brother. No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So we've been talking for, a couple of years now. You've been a Privy user for a while. And, we have a lot of conversations about, how the markets are evolving, how things are changing. Your background in real estate investing started in the wholesale space, and it's evolved. And we've been talking about a lot recently how your business is evolving, and you're thinking bigger, you're thinking outside the box. So tell me a little bit about you and your background, how you started, and what brought you to here.
Sure. Well, guys, just very briefly, for those that don't know, camera went out there. Let me get it back on. Yeah, for those that don't know, guys, my name is Shawn Young. I'm a virtual host coach based out of Atlanta, Georgia. I got started in our industry at about 2015 after being laid off of a six-figure, quote unquote, secure industry job, right? I got laid off with 750 other folks. And at that point, I said, I'm going to take my destiny in my own hands. And that led me into real estate, guys. So I jumped right in. I failed my way forward. I went all in right away. I had a lot of success up front. Some might say it's luck, but I say there's no such thing as luck. Luck is only opportunity meeting preparation. So I feel I was very prepared for the opportunities that came about. And that's what this is all about, guys, is helping you be prepared for opportunities. Calls like this, that's what we do this stuff for, is to help you guys get armed with all the tools that you need to be prepared for success. There's a quote that says, a smart person learns from their mistakes. A wise person learns from the mistakes of others. So guys, I'm here to tell you, don't do what I did, which was what I did do is I hesitated at first. I will say that I hesitated. And I overanalyzed things because I come from a background where I felt I had to know every aspect of what I was selling, because I was a sales executive. So I wanted to really know my product, and I felt it was the same way. But you have to approach this differently. This is not sales. It's sales techniques, but this is really people. This is a relationship game. This is having relationships, guys. And Privy is a tool that allows you to have a great relationship.
Well, part of relationships and getting those started is opening up that conversation, right? So, in your business, well, in where you started with wholesale, like building that buyer's list, what was the challenge with that? And, has Privy at all helped you, building better relationships with buyers because of the data?
Absolutely, guys. If I would have had Privy 6-7 years ago, well, let me explain to you guys. When I first got started, my very first deal was a sandwich lease option. Then within about 30 to 45 days, I had 11 more deals under contract. And I thought I was the man. I was like, wow, this business isn't as hard as they say it is. So I had 11 deals under contract, and only 7 of those deals actually ended up closing, which is still not bad. But the reason why I didn't close all 11 deals is because what Benson just mentioned, I didn't have a strong buyers list. And I really didn't know what I was doing either. I didn't have the drive and the motivation, or not the motivation. I didn't have the skill set, I would say, to know how to move the ball forward fast enough. So I kind of drug my feet a little bit, and I was like, if I got 11 that easy, it couldn't be too hard to get 11 more, right? And so that was a lesson that I learned, is build a strong buyers list, because your buyers it's your business. You can have 10,000 buyers on your buyers list. But what I'm promising you guys is in each market that you do business in, that list is going to narrow down to about 3 or 4 at the most. And these are going to be the folks that are constantly going to be buying from you. And not that you want to ever be an employee of your cash buyers, but you want to make sure that you establish strong relationships with at least 4 to 5. Let me reverse engineer it for you. I'll give you my mindset on why I'm telling you guys this. You speak with a cash buyer and you say, Mr. or Mrs. Cash Buyer, what are your goals this year? How many properties are you looking to buy? How much are you looking to spend on properties this year? That's how you figure out how many cash buyers will it take for you to hit your goal if you supply them with what they're looking for? If this cash buyer says, I'm looking for 5 deals this year, you find another person that says they're looking for 5 and another, you add that up. How much is each deal going to be worth that I provide to this, this cash buyer, this individual? So that's another way that you foresee the money that can be made in this business is by having strong relationships up front with those cash buyers. And Privy allows you to actually go in, see where the action is going on, see who those cash buyers are, get the names of those cash buyers, quickly run a search on them, you run a people search on the internet, find out the phone number and give those folks a call. And what you know it, hey, you guys, my name is Shawn. I just saw that you guys bought a property on 123 Main Street. I've got a property here on 175 Main Street. Looks like something you guys might be interested in. Don't you guys think that would be a great cash buyer for you? Absolutely, it would be.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and when you call and you already know something about them, like it levels the playing field a bit. Now you're calling them from a position of power. It's like stuff about them, right? And then all of a sudden, it's like they're not like, oh, I'm the gatekeeper, and I'm up here and you're down there. It's like, okay, cool. Now we're at the same level. Let's do some business together. I know this property you just fixed and flipped. You give them a couple, compliments on how they did it, how fast they did it, because the timeline. You can see the before and after pictures, and then you can say, well, yeah, this one right here is in the 21284 zip code. Is that the only place you're looking, or are you looking in any other areas, right? And so the questions you're asking are based off of data points that you know about them, and then it's easier for them to answer those questions and not create so much friction where it's hard for them to work with you, because when you call them with data, you sound like you know what you're talking about. You sound
100%.
like they want to work, as opposed to somebody who's like, yeah, I'm a wholesaler and I want you to be my buyer. It's like you got to go in there with a little bit of flow and some swag. And if you know the area and you know what kind of properties they're buying and you're confident, that is somebody they want to work with, right? What's your experience with that, Shawn?
100% all day long. What Benson's saying, guys, is right on point and it's right on par. And imagine if you're able to go in with that data that Privy gives you, where you're able to actually have some pictures of one of the projects and say, hey, Mr. Cash Buyer, man, that last project that you guys did on Main Street, it looked awesome, by the way. I mean, it looks like you guys made a good return on that. Are those the kind of returns that you're looking for in the future? I mean, they're going to say, wow, this guy or gal is pretty sharp. They know what they're talking about. You're not the average person that's out there, not knocking anything on YouTube University, because I love it. You just got to know how to navigate it properly, but you're not just going to be the average person that's watching a video out there going, hey, just reach out to cash buyers and put your foot in your mouth, so to speak. You don't want to do that because these are, again, our relationships, guys. You just want to have a good rapport with your cash buyer, know what they want. If they want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, don't offer them ham and cheese sandwiches, because that destroys your credibility. And how do you know if they want a peanut butter and jelly? Because again, guys, you're seeing that they're making peanut butter and jellies all day with the data.
Yeah. I'd never used the sandwich analogy before. I'm glad that you did. I'm going to start using the PB&J.
It's yours, brother. It's all yours.
So the way that we find that out, you guys, is through this reverse REI strategy. So we actually are in the process of finishing up a patent. I don't know if I told you that, Shawn, on the reverse REI strategy. We're patenting this process. So basically what we do is we use the data and we reverse engineer the process by looking at investor activity, tracking the data that we aggregate, curating it in a way that will reverse engineer the process and help you find deals just like the ones that were closed, right? So instead of wondering, is your house a deal? You'll know it's a deal because you can see the house right down the street that was just renovated or was just wholesaled or just rented. So we do that by beginning with the end in mind. So you reverse engineer the process and you learn a lot of information about the local market, about the buyers. And this is the kind of education, you guys, that you cannot get from YouTube University or from a guru or some book or a podcast. Yes, you definitely want to educate yourself and those other strategies, but local market knowledge will not come from any of those other sources. So this is education you cannot buy. You can
Mhm.
earn it by researching and looking at the data that we've curated so that you can get up to speed much faster than doing things the old fashioned way, which the old cats that I, met at the RIA who've been doing this for 40 years, it took them 10, 15 years before they knew their niche, before they knew their market. And they went out there and they learned by doing. That's the olden days, guys. You can learn a local market better than some people know in their own local area virtually by just looking at the data. And that's what allows you to do virtual real estate investing, virtual real estate, virtual wholesaling. So, Shawn, when you teach people virtual, like what's the process that you teach them on how to market the areas, how to invest, and what are some of the processes you're using?
Well, one of the main things that we do is we go in and figure out where do they have interest, and then we do the reverse engineering process that Benson just mentioned. We actually go use Privy to see what the activity looks like in that area. So someone might say, "Hey, I want to do business in Kansas City because my aunt Sally lives out there and she makes a killer apple pie." And I'm going to tell you, hey, well, let's see what's going on out there first before we invest in that area. Because if there's no activity going on, it doesn't make sense to move out there. And with a tool like Privy, it really allows you to narrow down that search. So we don't have to, it's no guesswork. We literally go right into an area. We narrow down where is the main activities going on in particular neighborhoods. We get those zip codes, we pull lists, and we target those properties. We market to that specific, we market specifically that way for a much better return on a result, on your time that you put in. You get a much better return when you're using that type of information and data.
Yeah, time and money, right? And time is more valuable than money because you can always earn more money, but you can
Absolutely.
get your time back.
Never get time back, guys.
In all these different areas, because you don't know any better. Well, you have a short runway in this business, 3 to 4 months. And if you're just spinning your wheels doing things the old fashioned way and you're not leveraging data to make better decisions, you're going to burn out. And you're sooner or later, your significant other, your business partner, your family members are going to be like, man, you've been doing this for 4 months. You've never done a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's time to do something or get off the pot, right? Like that's kind of how it goes. So make better decisions using data. Now, one of the questions is that a lot of people talk about is off market versus on market leads. I'm of the belief that every good investor should have multiple sources of deal flow and not put all your eggs in one basket. And we'll talk more about, off market versus on market. However, there's benefits to both. Like with off market, you can talk directly to the seller and you can do creative deal structures, and you can really find out motivation by asking questions and really pulling out what their pain points are. However, it's mostly sales and marketing. You're out there and you're on the phone talking to people, and you have to track people down, and a lot of that work has to be it's very active. And if you've got a 9 to 5 job and you're doing off market exclusively, it can be hard to take those calls and to do the follow up and work on their schedule when you have to be someplace 9 to 5. So on market, there's some benefits to it. The seller's motivated. You know exactly what they want to sell the house for. The offer process is established and the contracts are already there. However, because it's on market, can be some competition. Right? People know about it. Some people don't like to work with agents. I actually have an opposite opinion. I think it's great to work with agents because they do all the work for you and you don't pay them anything. They handle that. And then with on market, you can actually have a lot of the automated systems delivering you deals every single day that match your exact deal criteria. So this is all about building a systematic process. So whether you have a 9 to 5 and you need to, have the system work behind the scenes for you, or whether you are doing this full time and you're attempting to scale your business, automation, algorithms, technology, data is how you do that. That's how you do it in 2021, 22. It is not through doing things the old fashioned.
100%, Benson. I wanted to make sure that I chimed right in with something that you just said. When Benson is talking about the new way of doing things, guys, our market, it shifts. There's shifts in our market that happens, every 6 months or so, or whenever it happens, you have to be aware of it, and you have to be able to pivot to navigate through those shifts so that you're not a victim of the change in the market, but you can benefit from it and you can thrive from it. So again, guys, having data is the only way around that. Because the folks who are going to thrive are going to be the folks who are using tools like Privy, folks who are using data. Because what this allows you to do is, it from the beginning, is if you're using this type of a tool, is it allows you to not be pigeonholed into saying, you know what, I'm just going to be a wholesaler. And this is not to knock anyone who just calls themselves a wholesaler. I mean, my YouTube channel is called Adventures in Wholesaling. So I'm not knocking wholesaling. It's the foundation of my business. But with a tool like Privy, it allows you to become a transaction engineer, which means that you can address people's actual problems. What is the problem? Again, we're not just serving peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to folks who want ham sandwiches. We're actually solving their problem. We're listening to what they want, what their needs are, and we're able to address it by having multiple solutions that we can offer with data, with a tool like Privy. I'm telling you guys, it's super powerful. And I'm wanting to make sure I touched on that so you guys understand what that means about being part of the future. And data is going to be the king of the future and how this business is done.
It is. And what's cool about data is it's constantly evolving and changing, right? The data, when it's used properly, is giving you a snapshot of what the current state of the market is. So if you're in an area now that gets that adjusts, like Denver, which was hot 2 years ago, we've adjusted our system. We are actually not doing deals here anymore. It's outside our local market. And so because we have a nationwide database and nationwide access, we're able to really do this anywhere. You don't have to be in a specific market. So what you're looking at here is the coverage map for Privy. So we've got off-market data and public record data for the whole United States. So if you're researching and you want to do deals in Billings, Montana, well, you can find foreclosures there and absentee owners and vacancies and off-market leads. You can also find owner information, mortgage information, so you can generate lists and do skip tracing and email marketing and SMS marketing. We can do that for any city in the US, right? That's the off-market stuff. We also have listing information and comp data for the entire US as well. So if you wanted to, comp a property out in, Oregon, right? In I can't remember where the Ducks are at. I can't think of that city right now. And anyway, in some of these cities where they're not huge and there's not a ton of investor activity there, you can also do business there. Now, what's different about us that most companies don't do is that we actually go and we negotiate data contracts directly with the MLS in many markets. So wherever you see blue here and wherever you see red are our current and coming soon MLS markets. So this is the same data that agents and appraisers are using. And it isn't just the MLS, it is the raw data that we get from the MLS. And then we basically turn that into actionable information for real estate investors. So believe it or not, you guys, there are still people that are going to Zillow to pull comps, right? I know it sounds ridiculous, but people are actually doing it. And this, obviously, there's people who are not serious about the business and they're just kicking tires. However, this is how some people get started because they just don't know any better. So that data is not useful for comping. It is not designed for real estate investing. It is not true comparables or giving you investor activity. So the investor activity is this right here. So we have some filters that we've built to show you where the investor activity is so that you can actually start to reverse engineer this process like Shawn was talking about. So we're going to show you here on the map where this investor activity is located. So investor activity, as we define it, for some of the major exit strategies is where you can actually, people are buying properties, fixing them up and selling them, and the properties are going up in value. So this is a heat map. So the larger the circle, the higher the number, the more activity there is in that area. So I mentioned, Billings, Montana. Well, you could say that same thing about Cody, Wyoming. If you live in Cody, Wyoming, I'm sorry. You're going to have no success up there, right? You're going to have to do some stuff virtually. However, if you live in Denver like I do, well, people are doing some deals here. Now, the question is should you look at another market? And the answer is yes. And now I know that's uncomfortable for some people, but with the help with like a coach like Shawn or a system like Privy, you can start to get that system in place to be able to do deals virtually, whether you want to wholesale, fix and flip, or build a portfolio of rental properties or short-term rentals. So you would look at markets like St. Louis. Look at this. There's been 380 properties that have been done recently. Look at Chicago, 404. Indianapolis looks pretty hot. When you look south, you're seeing areas in like Atlanta. That's where Shawn is at. Atlanta's got a good amount of activity down there. Also Florida, Josh is on the call, and him and his partner, James, are doing stuff in Tampa. Look at Philadelphia, 900, almost 1,000 deals in the last 12 months that people have purchased, fixed up. And then you can see specifically where. Now, as you get up here closer to Reading, there's a little hot pocket there. So you want to go where the investor activity is. Now, some people say, well, if I go to where investor activity is, doesn't that create more competition? Well, the answer is yes. However, it's a double-edged sword. And so one of those is more important than the other. Yes, you'll have more competition. However, if you go to an area where there's no investor activity, the problem you're creating for yourself is greater than the problem of having competition. And that problem is comparables. This is a comparable driven business, you guys. And if you go to an area where there's no investor activity, you literally cannot prove after repair value, which is the key benchmark for how everybody does deals from a fix and flip, a wholesale, a BRRRR perspective. So you have to be where your comp's at if you want to have any meaningful success. You might get lucky in Cody, Wyoming, and find a property that will make you a little bit of money. However, you're not going to be able to create a repeatable, consistent, predictable business off of that. You need to be in an area like this where there's comparables and there's consistent activity that you can do one deal after the next, something you can build a business on and build a process where you can get away from that 9 to 5. And now you can actually do this thing full time. And maybe some of you are. So I don't want to say that you're not doing it. It's just that this is what works for people. Mm-hmm. So every one of these properties you see on the map is a successful fix and flip. This is how you would learn what's working in a particular area being remote. So Shawn not being in Philadelphia, right? Where would you look for deals if you're looking on this map? Like which area would you want to target?
Looks like up there where Juanita, is that what that says? And Juaniata or Juniata?
Okay, I'm looking for right here.
Yep, right in that area. And right up there in Melrose Park, right to the left of Melrose Park, those look like clusters. Those are some, actually, I'd look at this whole area. I'd circle the whole area there from Juanita up to Melrose. And that'd be a perfect area. What's so crazy about this is one of my new students is actually here in the Philadelphia area using Privy, and she's already got a deal locked up. So she's got 2 actually. So it's a hot area, guys.
It is, right? And so the data supports that, right? Like there's the anecdotal data, and then there's the facts, right? Which is what we're looking at, the empirical data, right? So we're basically can look at both and say, okay, cool. Well, what does a deal look like in this particular area? So now we can go in and look at a successful deal that closed so we can learn what a deal looks like. So when a deal is presented to us, we're not wondering, well, is this a deal? Is this not a deal? So this report we're looking at, you guys, is what's called a comparative market analysis. This is something that I would have to build as an agent manually. It could take me an hour or 2, and that's even having the experience that I have being in the business for close to 20 years, as well as having access to MLS data. So what our system does is it automatically pulls comparables on every single property in the US 24/7. This is a snapshot of the subject property, which is in the middle, and then it shows us all the comparables as well as the rental comps, right? So if you want to build a portfolio and you want to find something that cash flows, or you want to do short-term rentals, you can buy properties that are at discounts. We don't have short-term rental data yet. We're working on it. However, this is the long-term rental data. And then this all changes and updates live. So as properties change status from sold to from active to under contract to sold, or if you get new rental comps, we show you all that information. Now, this is an example of a property that somebody purchased. Now, this was an off-market acquisition. They bought this for 105,000. They sold it for 285, and they grossed $180,000. So this is showing you like what other investors are doing to have success. Now you can see what kind of renovation they did, what kind of materials they used. Now, if you're a wholesaler, you might be thinking to yourself, well, I don't care about any of this. I just care about you getting my assignment fee. Well, the way that you get an assignment fee is not just by having a property where the margins work. It's by delivering value and service to your buyer. And the more information you can provide to them, the more you can help them do their due diligence, the more you can educate them on what a deal is, and also make it easy for them, the easier it is for them to give you that assignment fee that you want. The assignment fee is not 100% attached to the margin of the property you just found them. Shawn, can you speak to that a little bit about, delivering value to a buyer and what the assignment fee represents?
100%. Yeah, that assignment fee actually is just what Benson said, is because you've brought value. You didn't just go out there and say, hey, I found somebody who's selling a property and I've got it under contract and the numbers don't make any sense because there's no data. I'm just going off of what I think and what I feel and what I think I'd pay and they told me they think it's worth. All that stuff it's totally irrelevant. When you're able to use data, especially for your cash buyers, it goes both ways. It's for your sellers as well, because when your sellers are asking for a particular price, you can use this same data to go back to your seller to say, hey, Mr. Seller, I know that you're wanting 100,000 for your property as is, but as you can see, Mr. Seller, all the properties in this area right now, they're selling at around 70,000, and these look like they're fixed up. And you're saying that your property is going to need a little bit of work. So let me show you about this property down the street here. And let me show you the pictures of what actually went into this property so that you can see what your neighbors down the street are doing for the neighborhood. So that's data, guys. That's data. It makes you valuable. Your wholesaling fee is not, it's not just because you've got a property and you say, well, I want to make $10,000 off of this. And you go out there and you offer it to people at a $10,000 more than what you got it for, without actually looking into what it would take to get that property to the next level so that it's adding value to that community, adding value to your cash buyer. You're able to make your wholesaling fee, your cash buyer is able to make his spread, his or her desired spread on that sale. And it's a win for everybody because you've set it up that way. That makes you valuable. Trust me, guys, if you do a deal like that with somebody, you're going to stand apart from other folks. You can print this data off on Privy as well. So when you're able to present that or show them a file that shows here's some before and after pictures of some properties in the area. So this is what we're up against. Trust me, guys, you're going to stand out and they're going to want to do business with you. And that's how you reverse engineer that. How many deals do you want, Mr. or Mrs. Seller? You want 10? All right. Well, you know that you want to make $10,000 off of each person. Well, this one seller represents $100,000 for you over the next 12 months because they want to buy 10 properties in the next 12 months. So you guys got to use data to build a true business.
Yep. Agreed. And I scrolled down here and I showed you how simple it is to find the buyers, right? So Ravioli Properties, I'm going to say ravioli because it sounds delicious. Ravioli Properties, this is the company that just did this deal. And all I did is I just copied it and I put it right here. And you can do one-offs and just find them on some of these business databases like Open Corporates or Bizopedia, or sometimes you can find like a Facebook group, or you can find a website. And it makes it really easy to contact those people on a one-off basis. Now, we've got some features in Privy where this allows you to do this in bulk. And so we can export this list and turn it into a list of buyers that you can reach out to on bulk fashion, and then by skip tracing it. I want to look at one more property here and see, this one just closed recently as well. Look at this. They grossed over $100,000 on that property, right? And now you're seeing the before and after. So you're getting a good sense of what a deal looks like. Every property that you look at in here, you guys, is a lesson in itself. It really helps you understand on what people are doing. Now, we looked at 2 off-market properties. Here's an on-market property. So many people out there say, oh, you can't find deals on the MLS. That's complete BS. There's hundreds, thousands of them out there at any given day. You just need a better way of finding them. So this is an example of one that was on the MLS. I mean, this thing is destroyed. I mean, look how bad this thing is. Now they bought this property. I don't know if I've seen a property that, oh, okay, it's not as bad as I thought. I mean, this is still pretty bad. In a long time, they got it for 67 grand right from the MLS. They sold it for 145,000. They grossed 78 grand. So this thing, they got it, 40, 45% of the ARV. This could have been a wholesale deal, a fix and flip. It could have been a BRRRR property. You could turn this into a straight rental. It's up to you. However, now that you know,
look at that other data right below that, where the days on the market, all that data right there. Yeah, holding time, construction days. That's important data, guys. That's important data.
It is. And if you're wholesaling, this is great information to share. Remember, Shawn was talking about helping your buyer with data. This is the kind of stuff you can give them. And then now you're worth the $5,000 assignment fee that you want in this. And they're not going to beat you up. They're not going to say, oh, well, we'll only give you 3,000. If you come in and you're like, here's all the data, here's all the fix and flips in the area that prove value. Here's exactly what kind of construction level you need to do. Here's the average hold time, construction period, days on market for the whole area. And I'm handing you a property on a silver platter, which margins that match exactly what you said you were looking for. They'd be like, here's the money, take it. They won't be able to give you that money fast enough. So, and again, so this buyer right here is down here. If you look at a property and you look at the, if it's already switched over, you can go to the property history and then you can see, who was involved in that transaction. So lots of, this is Marcella and Martin were the sellers on this property. So some people operate in their own, their own names, and then you can find these people. So another tool you guys, you want to look at is True People Search. So True People Search is a free tool where you can basically skip trace. You just put the name of the person and then the city, state, and zip, and then they'll give you emails, phone numbers, all kinds of stuff. This is on a one-off basis. So with Privy, now that we have the off-market data here, you can create a list. So if you wanted to create a list of buyers with this information, we've got 26 active buyers in this area that are doing deals today in a pandemic. We know they've got the money to execute. We know that they have the capability, the opportunity. Well, let's create a campaign to reach out to these people. So all we do is we just create a list by clicking the list view over here on the right. It creates the list. You go ahead and you just select all the properties. You come over here to the download button. And now Privy is going to create a CSV file that you can download and put into your CRM. You can start a mailing campaign and just start mailing these people postcards, saying that, say, hey, I'm a wholesaler, I'm an investor in the area, I've got deals, call me, let's do business. Or you skip trace it. You can take this list right here and you can upload it to a company like Lead Sherpa or Batch Leads, and then get the information there and you can start just reaching out. So Lead Sherpa is a company that I use. They're really affordable. I don't have any affiliation with these guys. However, I do know that they do business well, and you can do some SMS marketing right out of their system. Batch Leads is another good one. I just skip traced a list recently, and I got all the owner and mortgage information. And I want to show you what that looks like real quickly so you can see how simple it is to get the information and start your campaign. So over here on the right is all of that information that you bring into the system. So here's the phone numbers. It tells you if it's a landline or a mobile phone. Here's their email addresses. So you can start emailing them, putting them into a drip, touching them from different angles. Maybe you knock on their door. Maybe you call them. Maybe you send them a ringless voicemail or a text message. All that it can be done quickly and easily. And the key to this, you guys, is the reverse engineered process. You're not going to go and find buyers in some random area. You're going to want to find buyers in this very specific area where people are doing deals. And this here is where you're going to look for properties that you can actually go and now market to these buyers. So there's off-market opportunities right here. Now, before we look at off-market, I want to show you how simple it can be to find on-market deals. Again, we just looked at one that was on market. I just got off a call with one of my investors and agents in Chicago. And Shawn, this is going to blow you away. He closed in the last 12 months, 350 deals that he found on Privy in the last 12 months.
Wow.
350 deals.
That's a ton of deals, guys.
That's Christian from Christian Chase from Chicago.
Wow, that is
And
awesome.
those were all MLS deals that they fixed and flipped or wholesaled. It is absolutely ridiculous. I don't wish. In my world, it seems almost impossible. And that's obviously a fringe. I'm not telling you can do 350 deals. Um, it just blows my mind with the capability of the system to be able to help you do that. It's absolutely insane. So that's what's possible, you guys. So how do you find active deals in this area? Well, all you do is you just click one button. So you click that button that says find similar active deals in this same area. So Privy's going in, it's pulling comps on every single property in this area, and it's only going to show us the houses that match our specific deal criteria. So we found 139 just in this one zone, and this is just what's available today. So, tomorrow there's going to be a different set of properties. If there's nothing today, then something new will pop up tomorrow. And with our automation and the ability to save in these searches, you can have these properties show up right at your inbox every single day, all across the country, not just in this particular area. So here's a house that just came on the market. It's for sale for 99 grand. We flagged this as a deal, and this is a Privy preferred deal. So I wouldn't dig into that too much, but this is a proprietary piece of that algorithm that goes with our patent that we're putting together, where you're identifying houses that match the specific criteria of houses that were just flipped. So you come down here into the comp section, and we can see here that this property is right here, for 99 grand. Now we flag this property as a deal because of all this data. So every blue icon here is data that supports that this house is a deal that matches your specific deal criteria. All we got to do is come down here, and then we can sort by distance. And then we look at the comparables, and we can see here that look at all of these houses that recently sold that support this. Now, we want to lean on a property where we've got the before and after data, because that makes it really easy to sell to our buyer. This one right down the way was just fixed and flipped. Okay. So if we look at this property and look at it, and it sold for 185 grand, and we've got a property that you can get for 99,000, that's putting this property at about 50 something percent of the ARV. Mm-hmm. And we've got the properties right here to prove it. It makes it really easy to prove after repair value when there's fixed and flip properties in the same neighborhood. So, this house right here, Shawn, 99 grand, in one of the closest, these fix and flip properties, 51%, 55%. Are those is this a property you could wholesale?
All day, every day, guys, all day. Definitely.
So knowing that it's about 50 to 55% of ARV, and knowing that, the values are right around, approaching 200,000, mm-hmm. What kind of assignment fee could you put on this property that you feel confident with?
A solid 10, 15,000 solid, guaranteed, solidly.
Right. And so would you have to bicker and negotiate and have a big conversation with a buyer about this? Or, we've got the good data. We know we're in a hot area. We're delivering value. 10 grand on something that just shows up in your inbox. Is it too good to be true?
Absolutely not. It sounds like it is, isn't it, guys? But it's this data and it's technology, and who's going to use it? Who's going to be the ones to take advantage of it? That's literally all that it boils down to. Like Vincent's saying, this person out in Chicago, out in Illinois, 350 deals through using technology. There are other realtors around, I'm sure, using all kinds of similar technologies, but they're not using this one. So they're missing out.
Yeah, definitely. And these properties, they're around, right? There's all these things, and all you got to do is just, once you set up and save your search, at that point, it's just about making sure that you're monitoring your alerts. So mm-hmm. Once you set up the search and you actually change it to match your specific deal criteria, you can have lines in the water all over the US. Now, don't put those lines in the water in areas just willy-nilly. Don't necessarily put those in your own backyard. Put them in areas like we've just identified tonight: Chicago, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Tampa. Those are the areas that you want to consider searching for deals in. Indeed. Right? And these searches I just did were all created through this filter that you can change manually. And so you don't have to be an expert on how to do this. You basically just run the search and then let the algorithm do the heavy lifting. And then you just sit back and you wait for these to show up. Now you're the one that has to take action. You're the one that has to go and look at that property, or you have to, leverage somebody with boots on the ground. Maybe it's the listing agent. Maybe it's an agent you find through Privy who's investor focused, and you'll find properties just like this one, $48,000 on market deal. It's an absentee owner. They own it free and clear. It's owned by an LLC. This person's motivated to sell. It's Privy preferred, so it matches our patent pending reverse engineer process. And then you look at the comparables down here and you say, okay, cool, I can get it for 48 grand. What are the numbers? So you look at the numbers here and we can see here that there's fix and flip properties. We got 2 that are in the process of being flipped that haven't sold yet. This one right here sold for 120 grand. So that puts this house you can buy for 48 at 40% of the ARV. Look at this thing though, you guys. They bought theirs for 82 and they still flipped it. You can get yours for almost, I don't know, 50.
Half of that. Yeah, almost half of that.
Yeah, 40%. So this is another property that I believe anybody here could make a deal work with this. So I'm going to share this one with you. I put that last property in the chat, and I want you to write an offer on this. So I'm going to go ahead and just share this link with you. And that's the other cool thing about our system, you guys, is you can share these properties with your agent. If you're a wholesaler, you can fix them with your, send them to your buyer's list, and they're all editable. So if there's data there that you don't want them to see comp wise, or you want to change the comp zone to make sure you're not crossing over major roads or waterways, like if you're in Tampa or something like that, you can adjust this. So let's say we wanted to make the zone really tiny. We can just go ahead and click the button here and we can redraw that zone. So there's a drawing tool here that allows you to basically create your own zone and make sure you're not crossing over major roads.
Yep.
And then once you send that over to your buyer, they're only seeing that specific data. You can also eliminate these manually. So if I didn't like this one that sold for 90K, it's still saying it's a deal. However, there's other properties that are higher than that. So let's get rid of that one. So you can see how powerful this is, you guys. Now we can generate, here's on-market leads. Well, is there any off-market leads here? All we do is we go into the filter. We know we're in an area, we've got good investor activity, we've got buyers there. Well, let's see if there's any off-market leads. Now, I believe that some of the best opportunities for wholesalers, investors moving forward are absentee owners. Absentee owners are landlords. These same landlords who own property through the moratorium because of COVID that haven't been getting rental rents from their people for the last 12 to 18 months. A lot of these people are really motivated to sell right now, and we can show you exactly who those people are. So you just go to absentee owners, and then you create a date range, right? So I want to find absentee owners who own a property, who bought it, let's say before 2019. I want to give them some time to get into a situation where they'd be motivated to sell. And let's say we wanted them to buy it after 2010, right? Now, these are just some arbitrary numbers, and there's different strategies on what time frame you want to use. Let's use this for the sake of example. And then we go ahead and we just sort this. We run the search. Privy's going in and it's finding all of these properties. And there are tons of them, you guys. Now, we picked a pretty large area, right? And this is a very dense populated area. So you can see here, right, some of those numbers are higher. So you'd want to basically create a more manageable list. So let's go ahead and let's just say we want to stay in this little zone right here, right? This is North Philadelphia East. This is where Will Smith grew up. Right. So right in here is where you can generate a list. There's 642 properties here. All you got to do is just go ahead and get in tight enough to where you can start to see the individual properties. And then you create a list from the list view, export that list, and then you can start targeting these people and reaching out and creating some of these off-market opportunities if that's where you want to spend your time. Now, if you're not a good salesperson or you don't feel comfortable talking to people, that's okay too. We got plenty of on-market properties here. So there's lots of ones. And look at this property. Absentee owner. They own it free and clear. It's owned by an LLC. It's vacant. And it's a zombie property. You think that person's motivated to sell? Probably. Why don't you be the first person to call them? Right? Who are these people? All we do is we just open up the CMA, right? And with a lot of service who generate lists, they're just giving you a spreadsheet. Privy is also pulling comparables on every single property that's in this area. So it's not just a spreadsheet with a bunch of property info and owner information. Our system pulled comps on it. So when you talk to that person on the phone, you can look at the comparables in the area and give them a realistic estimation of value when you have potentially that one opportunity to talk to them on the phone. And then you come down here to the information and who owns this property. 1217 LLC. We can export this list. We'll get email information, contact information for them. You can send them a piece of mail, and then you've got a really targeted approach. And then 1217, if you call them and you say, hey, listen, I saw that property on, the property on Firth Street. Are you looking to sell? Is this something you want to load? And they're like, no, we're buying. And you're like, oh, cool. I've got properties I can sell you. Exactly. What are you looking for? Right. So you basically are taking out two birds with one stone, right, Shawn?
Absolutely.
So I love that approach of calling absentee owners, because no matter what they say, you have a solution for them. Oh, you want to sell? Great. I want to buy it. Oh, you don't want to sell? Well, I've got properties to sell you. Right. So it's
you looking for other properties like this one? I got more.
Yep, exactly. Now, let's say you came over here and you were driving for dollars, right? Because this is where you want to drive for dollars, not in some other area that doesn't have investor activity. And you come across a property and you're like, man, what is that thing worth? We'll just enter the address right in here to the search bar, and Privy will build a comparative market analysis, show you all the fix and flip activity in the area, give you the ARVs, the rental comparables, everything all right there. So you can analyze any property. You can search for off-market deals, on-market deals, all in one location, leveraging our patent pending process of the reverse REI strategy. That is something you cannot get from anywhere else, you guys. So that's Privy in a nutshell. Now, for those of you who are looking to get access to Privy, let me show you a few more things, and then I'll give you some specials and some discounts that we're doing right now. So what I showed you, you guys, was this systematic approach, right? Leveraging the data, leveraging the algorithms to optimize your time, using an automated process that will deliver you properties where all of the due diligence has already been done. I say all of it, I mean 90% of it. You still have to get your eyes on it and use your best judgment to determine if that property makes sense. However, we've eliminated 95% of the work, where you can just focus on the 5% of the rest of the work to be able to pull the trigger on that deal and make sure it's a deal. This is going to save you a ton of time. It's going to allow you to optimize it. If you're doing a 9 to 5, this is like having a team of virtual assistants doing all the heavy lifting for you. And then if you're already in the business, this will help you scale. This will help you add more deal flow, so that you don't have to go out and hire full-time staff. This is, again, like having a virtual assistants do all that heavy lifting for you, and then just giving you the nuggets. So a lot of confidence comes out of this, a lot of deal flow, and it's going to be a game changer for you. So I actually mentioned Christian. Christian actually blew my mind tonight, because I went into that appointment tonight talking to him, thinking we were talking about 50 deals, which I thought was amazing. He's since scaled up using Privy to that 350. This is Christian Chase. He's a real person. You can talk to him. He's in Chicago market. He will help you do deals in Chicago. If you're interested in Chicago, talk to Christian or somebody on his team. He will help you succeed. He's been there. He's done that. There's also some people who aren't doing that amount of volume, who are still having success. This is Anthony. He is a wholesaler. He's having success doing on-market deals now in his part-time while he's not at his full-time job. This is a Johnny. Johnny found his very first deal on Privy. I actually helped him set up and save his search, which is what another thing I'm going to offer you tonight is time with me. So with our actual system that I'm going to give you tonight, I will help you set up and save your searches so you have things starting to show up in your inbox tomorrow, right? So this is part of my VIP onboarding and 360-degree support plan that I've built for you so that you're not doing this on your own. You don't have to go in there. You're not a solopreneur where you only have yourself and a mirror to talk to. You can be part of our community. I was talking with Josh earlier, who's working with James, and they found each other in our private REI hacker Facebook group, and they joined forces, and now they're going in and they're tackling deals in Tampa. We can give you access to that same thing, as well as our live networking section. We have a live networking section next week, you guys, on Tuesday. Shawn, I don't know if you can make it. I think it'd be very valuable to be there, but we bring in people from all over the US. They can get on there, they can do deals together. We network, we powwow, we talk best practices, we share our resources and our tools that we use. This is all part of this. The mastermind session we do twice a week. It's on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern and Thursdays at 1 p.m. And then you get me for an hour, and I will set up and save all your searches and make sure your system is set up, ready to go. I give you that for free. We'll also give you the grandfathered pricing. So our prices are consistently going up, and we're adding more features and functionality. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, we just added it within the last couple of days, Shawn, is the list upload feature. So if you generate a list from some service and you want to analyze all those properties in bulk, you just upload that list to Privy, and our system will build a comparative market analysis for every single property in a fraction of a second. So you can analyze any property, even if you found it elsewhere. That's brand new. So
that's awesome.
I mentioned that, but the reason why I bring that up is that as we add those features in the future, you guys, our prices are going to change. So if you decide to come on with us, you get grandfathered in, your pricing will stay the exact same. It will not go up. I know we're here to talk about wholesale. However, Shawn, your business is scaling, right? You're looking to do more things, right? You're looking at
Absolutely.
fix and flip, apartment buildings. Tell us about how you're scaling.
Absolutely, guys. Just as Benson said, jumping into bigger and better. I won't say better, but just bigger opportunities, guys. And data allows you to do those opportunities because it provides you leverage. When you go about doing bigger projects, you don't want to necessarily use your own money. I'd say you don't want to use your own money, not necessarily. You do not want to use your own money. You want to use what's called OPM, other people's money. And enable to be able to use other people's money, you have to be able to structure opportunities that make sense to those folks who are involved with lending you their money. So Privy, again, it allows you to look like a 100% professional. Guys, like, this is serious business. I literally just had a meeting with two gentlemen this past week, and I used Privy as one of my leveraging tools to bring them on board as one of my lenders. They want to get involved with some investing with me. So I go through different processes to make sure we're good fits for each other. And as of late, I've been using Privy to really drive home the fact on how we find our deals and how we're actually, making sure that our numbers make sense, to make sure that our end product makes sense as well.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about this, Shawn, because you're transitioning. This is all advice that you give to your coaching students, right, on how to scale
Absolutely.
their business. And Shawn has actually got some specials for you guys. So we'll talk about that here in a second. So some great specials coming in from a coaching perspective, working with Shawn, and also being able to use our tool with Shawn, right? Because Shawn is an expert in his field, and now he leverages data and analytics to scale his business. This is all education you want, from Shawn, and he's going to show you how you can get that here in a second. So let me finish this up here. This book right here is another bonus. So for those of you that are looking to do fix and flip, we've got a great book here from Roddy himself in the Chicago market, who wrote this book. He's an expert contractor and fix and flipper, and he put together a book on exactly how to do the construction process. Another bonus here is for those of you that say, well, I'm scared about writing offers, or I'm not sure this is for me. I don't have a buyer's list. Well, we're going to get you started with a buyer's list that has over 5,000 people in it, nationwide, all segmented by location. It's got emails, phone numbers, names, contact information, so you can really start doing that. And then I've got a class that I created on exactly how to create new buyers for that list. So you can continually grow your buyers list and find those 4 to 5 people, like Shawn said, that are just your ringers, the ones that've got deep pockets. They're not scared of the business. They're ready to write offers. All you got to do is just bring them deals. We've got the deals in Privy. Now you got the buyers list. Now the only thing that's stopping that is you in the middle of that, right? You got to get in, you got to start taking action, and you can do that with our system. So that's the key. Now, the other thing that we're launching here, and we're going to be rolling it out slowly, is a fully functioning CRM with lots of features and functionality that will help you track all of your deal flow, so you're not letting leads slip through the cracks. Eventually, the CRM is going to have really robust features like the ability to do marketing campaigns out of it, skip tracing, SMS marketing. What I'm going to do for you tonight, if you decide you want to sign up, is I'm going to give you access to the CRM for free for a full year with the purchase of our annual plan and the discounts we're giving tonight. So this is going to be available to you. So what does that look like? So all of these bonuses, including the CRM and the buyers list, it's a huge value. It's over $3,000 in value. All these bonuses, I'm going to give it to you for $864 for the year. That's literally like paying $72 a month. And luckily, I work from home now. I'm not spending that much money in a week on going out to eat. I was before. I was spending more than $72 a month just on going out for coffee and eating out at I don't know, Applebee's or Chipotle, because it was just so convenient. This is literally what people were blowing their money on, you guys. Think about investing that same amount of money in your business. We showed you 2 properties tonight where, well, one of them, Shawn said, you could easily be a $10,000 to $15,000 assignment fee. Mm-hmm. 10 to 15,000. This is 1/10 of what you could make with one property if you only did one with Privy. And I showed you 2 tonight. They could easily make that happen for you. Now you've got to get under contract and you got to make it happen. However, we give you all the tools to do that. $864. It's really a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer, guys.
We give you a guarantee.
It's an investment also, guys. I also want you to stop thinking. I'm not saying that anyone on this call or on this presentation feels like this, but don't think of things as a cost. Oh, how much is this going to cost? Think about the investment into yourself, the investment into your business, you taking this to the next level and actually making this serious from the beginning, or if you're intermediate, or if you're a little more advanced. This is just going to help you guys understand that all the money, all the finances that you put into it is an investment. It's not an expense, so to speak. That's a different way to look at it.
I agree. I wish I could say that Chipotle was an investment. All that it is an investment is into my gut growing. Mm-hmm. And boy, I love those burritos, man.
Man, I love Chipotle, man. You're talking my language, brother. You're talking my language.
Yeah, Chipotle is my love language. I love it. Recently, I've been cutting back and I'm looking to get lean and mean. So I still go there. I just get tacos now instead of like all of the big burrito with that. The tortilla is like 200 calories in just the tortilla itself.
Oh, wow.
Anyway,
well, luckily I've got me a gym here at the house, man. So I just, when I feel like I'm not doing enough, I go into that gym, but I have a routine. So I stay fit. And that's another thing too, guys, staying mentally fit and physically fit. It will definitely help you with your mindset on approaching our business.
Yeah, 100%. It's absolutely true. Mm-hmm. That's, if you're not in the right frame of mind, you're not going to be able to execute at work. So, mm-hmm. Help with that. And, you definitely get your mind right. And what helps with getting your mind right is making money, right? So it's almost like the chicken and the egg, right? And where do you start first? Money will make all of that a lot easier. So mm-hmm. Invest in yourself, invest in your business. If you are unable to make that 864 work, credit cards, business partners, PayPal, whatever you can do, because all of the bonuses I talked to you about really make a difference, you guys. When you have me there looking over your shoulder, setting things up for you, when you can come to the mastermind sessions and the networking sessions, it makes a world of difference. If for some reason that is too much of a stretch for you, don't let that stop you. $97 per month, you can get in the system. It still comes with some bonuses. I give you deal analysis calculators, and you can get on the mastermind. 30-day money back guarantee. This will get you going. And then down the road, when you do your first deal, or once your financial situation starts to look up, then you can upgrade to the annual planning and get some benefit from that. It won't be the same deal we're doing tonight, or what we're doing for the Black Friday special, which this is part of that. You will still be able to upgrade at some point. So don't let your financial situation stop you. Invest in yourself, invest in your outcome, your preferred business outcome. So here is the special, you guys. Now, Shawn is going to actually show you. Do you want to share your screen, Shawn?
No, I don't have my screen to share, but what I want to let you all know is that, me and Benson have always been partnered together and working really closely together, guys. And I have a special for anyone who's on this call today, guys. All you have to do is visit my website. Let me know that you were on this call. I will put that into the chat. It's ShawnYoungCoaches.com. And let me know that you were on this call, and I will give you 50% off of my one-on-one coaching program, which will also include 1 year of Privy as well. So not only will you get me for a year, for 6 months, but you'll have Privy for a year in addition to that for 50% off. And guys, that's going to run into the end of this month here. So I'll make sure I drop that into the chat for us. And guys, take advantage, guys. You have me, you have Benson. Now is the time. Don't wait to feel good to do things. Do things to feel good. Remember that one, guys.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you being here is a testament of that, right? You could have laid in bed and
Indeed,
cold and you're like, whoa, it's me. I don't feel good. But you're doing things, right? And look at you. You're smiling. You're glowing. You're top of the world now. And this is just exactly what Shawn practices, what he preaches. And there is not many people in this world, you guys, that I actually feel comfortable referring people to. Shawn is one of the guys. He's upstanding. He's authentic. He's trustworthy. He's everybody you want in a business partner to work with. So I feel 100% referring you guys to Shawn. He will treat you right, and he delivers. He's not just going to get your money and then disappear, and then you're not unable to reach him. He'll spend the time with you so you can have the same level of success that he's had in his wholesale business, and then help you ramp up and go down that same path that he's going down. And then he'll help you reverse engineer the process, right? He's going to be doing, 50 unit apartment buildings in the next year or two. And then you're going to be his protege, and he'll pull you up right there and help you do the exact same thing.
I've got one of my students actually on the call right now. It looks like Annette. Hey, Annette, how's it going? So she knows for sure that that's my style. That's what we do. I've got my students' backs, and we make this thing happen together, guys. I take you to, get you to that first hurdle, get you a deal closed, get you another deal closed, and then, guys, the sky's the limit from there on where you want to take your business. And I'm right there with you to ensure that you walk that right path.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
So check out Shawn's special, 50% off. That includes Privy, if you don't already have it. And then your Black Friday special, Shawn, is that the same thing that you were talking about before, or is that something different?
That's a Black Friday special, guys. So if anyone wants to take advantage, just like I say, head on over to ShawnYoungCoaches.com. I've got specials in there for my course, which doesn't include any one-on-one time with me, but it's a course on there for wholesaling. It's a package, a survival kit. I also own and manage a virtual assistant company to help get done the heavy lifting. So if you guys need cold callers, folks to scrub lists, send out text messages, manage all that stuff, reach out to me, guys. I'm even if you don't utilize my services, guys, as a coach, I would definitely say get a coach and use Benson's tool for sure. Because like Benson said, he's another gentleman who I stop what I'm doing at any time and say, hey, Benson, how can I help you? Or if he asks for my help, I stop what I'm doing and say, I got you. I'm at your service, because of his go-giver mentality and his go-giver spirit. And like he's saying, guys, I'm a little under the weather tonight, but I'm here making it happen. Benson, he's had a long day today. It's 8 o'clock here, guys, I'm sure. But you know what? We're here giving value and making it happen, because this is what we love to do. And when you're making money, doing what you love, you can get out of bed and smile. It doesn't hurt as bad. So trust me, guys, come join the party.
Yep. Well said, my man. Thanks again for being here. And everybody, if there's any questions, let me know. I put the links to sign up in the chat. I also put my contact information. So if you want to call me tomorrow, or set up a call. My demo link is in there. We can set up a time to actually chat, answer any of your questions, make sure you feel comfortable moving forward with us. If you're just kind of kicking tires and you're not really sure if real estate is for you, this probably isn't for you. I just want to be honest with you. I don't want you to invest in a tool that you're not ready for. You could potentially grow into it. However, you're going to have to be, super motivated and committed to yourself and to your business and to your success. You're going to have to be able to set goals and hold yourself accountable and commit and actually follow through and execute. So once you get there, you guys, we're who you want to partner with. If you're not there yet, that's okay. There's no wrong answer to this, you guys. Just make sure that you are mentally ready to commit to this business, because once you go in and you jump in with both feet, you're going to have that time period of 4 or 5 months where you're going to have to make it work. And I know that if you invest in Privy, if you invest in Shawn, him and I will invest in you. And we will do everything we can to help you succeed and get your investment into us out and get a good ROI. So that's our commitment to you, is helping you out. And, for anybody that's here, if you're existing user, if you've worked with us in the past, just do not hesitate to reach out, because I am invested, Shawn's invested in your success.
100%. James, Joshua, hats off to you gentlemen for teaming up out there in Tampa as well, man. That's how you do it. It's collaboration over competition all day, every day. Don't have that scarcity mentality, guys. Think in abundance. Just be a go-giver. Think of how can you add value to folks that you come across, and how do you leave them feeling when you're done? That's what's most important, guys. Creating opportunities for great relationships.
Love it. Well, I think that's enough for us. Shawn, thanks so much for being here, man. I really appreciate you being here. And I appreciate everybody who took the time to come here tonight and kind of just, listen to what we had to share. I hope it was game changing for you. I hope that it changed your paradigm on what the real estate business is and how it operates and how you can succeed in it. And this is only the tip of the iceberg, you guys. We're going to continue to add more and more value, more and more education and support. And this is the right time. This is the right time to get in. 2022. It sounds weird to say that. 2022 is the best year ever.
Guys, I want you guys to pick up this motto for 2022. Dedication over motivation. All right. Dedication over motivation. You might not be motivated every day, but you got to be dedicated. Like Benson said, committed. So dedication over motivation, guys. Take that one to the bank. 2022 is yours to conquer. It's no one else's but yours to conquer.
With this crown on my head, I'm seated on the throne. The top is so alone. Only thing that keeps me going is I know my city love me. I know my city love me. I know my city love me. I know my city